And then kind of like there are two emerging ways of trying to look at outcomes. I've done a lot of work with Wiltshire, and one or two of you may have heard me on Radio 4 talking about it. Was it last? I think it was only last week, wasn't it? I love the Wiltshire model. I love what they've tried to do. I think their intention, their ambition, their vision was absolutely spot on. But actually they did make a number of mistakes, if that's the right word, on the journey, some of which we've already talked about. But let's just kind of capture the essence of their model. The essence of their model is that social workers assess older people for the outcomes, and they are for the outcomes that will promote their independence. That's really important, because actually when we use the language of outcomes, almost I see two different sets of language being used. There's a kind of set of language which I'll categorise as a good outcome is someone is happy. And so there are a whole set of outcome frameworks that I see around the United Kingdom that in the end, the essence is the customer is happy with the service they're getting. And that is not an unreasonable framework or a reasonable expectation. But that's not what I'm going to be talking about for the rest of this session. I'm actually challenging you to look at the outcomes that promote independence, the outcomes that maximise opportunities for greater independence. And that's a different tone than people just being content. And I could give you loads of examples. There's a bit of the conversation we had earlier today where someone may actually be content with their lot, but actually they might need to be challenged to have greater expectations for themselves and greater aspiration for themselves, and at times people may need to be helped to achieve that. So in Wiltshire, the social work model was we assess people. The conversation is obviously a two-way conversation. It's the older person being encouraged to talk about what their aspirations are, their expectations, things they want to achieve, and how a programme of care, of support would enable them to do that. In the Wiltshire model, the expectation was that the care workers and their managers would manage a whole framework of help to somebody, which might include linking them up to local community organisations, helping them get out of the home to actively take part in community activities that they may have abandoned, for example, when their frailty started. So the kind of vision was a much more holistic set of help to people than just going in for half an hour to deliver care.